Everyone is talking about dopamine detox right now. Delete your apps. Stare at a wall for a day. Reset your brain in 24 hours. I tried it, and I need to tell you something that nobody in this trend is saying. You cannot detox from dopamine. Not in a day. Not in a weekend. Not ever, actually. And once I understood why, everything about how I fixed my own focus made a lot more sense. Dopamine is not a toxin sitting in your body waiting to be flushed out. It's not sugar. It's not alcohol. It's not something you can starve out of your system with a single heroic day of silence and self-punishment. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's one of the most essential chemicals your brain uses to function at all. It's involved in motivation, movement, learning, memory. Without it, you wouldn't just lose focus. You wouldn't be able to get out of bed. So when an influencer tells you to detox your dopamine, they are, scientifically speaking, asking you to do something that isn't even possible. You can't lower a chemical that your brain needs constantly just by avoiding your phone for a day. But here's the part that actually matters, the part that made me stop and rethink everything. The instinct behind the trend isn't wrong. Something really is broken for a lot of us. We really do feel scattered, twitchy, unable to sit with a book for 10 minutes without reaching for a screen. That feeling is real. The explanation the internet gave you for it is not. So let's actually talk about what's happening in your brain, because once you understand the real mechanism, you won't need a 24-hour detox challenge. You'll understand exactly why your focus feels broken, and exactly what actually fixes it. Your brain doesn't have a fixed amount of dopamine that runs out and needs refilling. What actually changes is your sensitivity to it. Think of it less like a tank running empty, and more like a volume dial slowly getting turned up over months of exposure to constant stimulation. Every notification, every short video, every quick scroll gives you a small, fast dopamine spike. Dozens of them, every single hour. Over time, your brain adjusts to that volume. It starts expecting that level of stimulation just to register something as interesting at all. That's why a walk outside suddenly feels boring. That's why a conversation with a friend feels slower than it used to. That's why opening a book feels like trying to run through wet sand. Nothing about those activities changed. Your baseline did. This is the part the dopamine detox trend gets almost right, and then completely botches the solution for. You don't fix a raised baseline by punishing yourself with a single silent day and calling it fixed. A 24-hour detox doesn't undo months of recalibration. It's like trying to fix months of bad sleep with one early bedtime. So if the popular version is wrong, what actually works? The real fix isn't detoxing dopamine. It's changing where your dopamine comes from. Neuroscientists call this shifting toward slow dopamine. Activities that build reward gradually through effort instead of instantly through stimulation. Let me show you exactly what this looked like for me. Because this is what I actually did, not what an influencer told me to do in a viral video. The first thing I did was stop trying to eliminate dopamine and start trying to redirect it. I didn't punish myself with a silent detox day. I simply removed the sources giving me constant fast spikes, permanently, not temporarily. Short video apps deleted, not muted, not limited for 24 hours, gone, indefinitely. The difference matters more than it sounds like it should. A one-day detox tells your brain, this is a punishment I'm enduring. A permanent removal tells your brain, this option no longer exists. One creates resistance, the other creates peace, because there's nothing left to resist. The second thing I did was deliberately choose slow dopamine activities, on purpose, every single day, not as a reward, but as the main event. Exercise, reading, deep conversation, learning something that takes real effort. These don't give you a spike, they give you a slow, steady climb. And that climb is exactly what retrains your brain's baseline back down to something manageable. I want to be honest with you. The first several days of this felt worse, not better. Slow dopamine activities felt boring, almost painfully so, because my brain was still calibrated to the fast stuff. That discomfort wasn't a sign I was doing it wrong. It was a sign the recalibration had actually started. The third thing I did was give it real time. Not 24 hours, not a weekend. Your baseline took months to shift upward. It's not shifting back down in a day, no matter what a viral video promises you. I gave myself 30 days, not because that number is scientifically magic, but because it was long enough to feel the difference and short enough to stay consistent. By around day 10, simple things started registering as interesting again. A walk, a physical book, an actual conversation without checking my phone mid-sentence. Not because I detoxed, because I had spent 10 straight days feeding my brain slow rewards instead of fast ones, consistently, without pretending one clean day would erase months of the opposite. The fourth thing I did was stop treating stimulation as the enemy and start treating imbalance as the actual problem. The goal was never zero dopamine, zero pleasure, zero stimulation forever. That's not sustainable, and honestly, it's not even healthy. The goal was rebalancing the ratio so that slow, effortful rewards made up most of my day instead of being crowded out entirely by fast, easy ones. Now, here's the deeper shift, the one that actually changed how I see this whole trend, and maybe how you'll see it too. The dopamine detox trend sells you a fantasy. One day, one reset, one clean slate, and your brain is fixed. It's appealing because it's fast, and because it turns a complicated problem into a simple weekend challenge. But your brain isn't a system that resets. It's a system that adapts, slowly, based on what you consistently feed it. There is no shortcut around that. There never was. And honestly, once I stopped looking for the shortcut, the whole process became less stressful, not more. I wasn't chasing some perfect 24-hour reset that I was bound to fail at. I was just, day after day, quietly feeding my brain slower, more effortful rewards, and trusting that the baseline would follow eventually. It did. If you've tried a dopamine detox and felt like it didn't work, I need you to hear this clearly. It's not because you failed. It's because the premise was broken from the start. You are never going to fix months of recalibration with one day of silence. That was never a fair test, and it was never really your fault. The real fix was always slower, quieter, and far less dramatic than a viral trend could ever package into a single video. But it actually works because it's built on how your brain really functions, not on a fantasy about flushing out a chemical that was never a toxin in the first place. So if your focus feels broken right now, don't punish yourself with one extreme day and call it fixed. Start feeding your brain slow rewards, consistently, and give it real time to recalibrate. Your brain isn't broken, and it was never something you needed to detox. It just needs to be retrained patiently, the same way it was trained into this state in the first place. If this helped you see the trend differently, hit subscribe. Next time, we're breaking down exactly how long real dopamine recalibration takes and what the research actually says about it. I'll see you in the next video.